What if from isn't a punishment, but a confrontation? With fear, with trauma, with a self we buried just to survive. Most people see From as a mystery box show. And sure, it has mysteries, but From isn't really asking where they are. It's asking who they are when they arrive. Because every single character enters the town at a moment of collapse. Not physical collapse, identity collapse. The version of themselves the world shaped can no longer hold, and Fromville doesn't let them run from that. Boyd arrives on the edge of retirement, a man built on orders, structure, and sacrifice. For the first time, he allows himself to want something personal. A boat, a future. But Boyd is defined by control, and From teaches him one of its cruelest lessons. You can do everything right and still fail. The town doesn't reward strength, it dismantles it. The man who prides himself on feeding everyone, protecting everyone, never failing, can never give more than the town will take. Abby arrives at the same breaking point, but she collapses in the opposite direction. She's stepping into a world where the rules she trusted no longer exist. Without the uniform, without the mission, she doesn't know who she is. Whether Abby was right about the town being a simulation may not matter. What she got wrong was believing she had the authority to end everyone's journey. In Fromville, no one ascends by choosing for others. This place doesn't ask for control. It demands personal reckoning, and Ellis is trapped between them. Raised as a military child, home was always temporary. Stability belonged to other families. Love existed alongside duty, never separate from it. When the town arrives, Boyd and Abby don't change, they revert. Boyd becomes the fixer, the leader who treats the forest like another deployment. Abby chooses brute force, believing death is mercy. That finality is freedom, and Ellis watches his family fracture in fast forward, not slowly, not naturally. The town didn't create this break, it exposed it. Fatima enters as light. In a place ruled by fear, she chooses joy. She teaches Ellis how to love without armor, how to believe something can last, even here. For the first time, Ellis feels permanence, a future, a family that might not disappear. And then comes the pregnancy. At first, it feels like a miracle, proof the town doesn't only take. Hope takes root, and then it curdles. Fatima changes, slowly, subtly. Ellis clings harder, desperate not to lose the life he's just begun to believe in. And when the birth comes, it isn't life at all. It's a new version of an old monster. Which raises a terrible question. In Fromville, is life ever created, or is hope itself just bait? Tabitha and Jim arrive already broken. The marriage is failing. Grief has hollowed them out. They're together, but not aligned. The town doesn't cause their fracture. It exposes it. And instead of letting them avoid it, it forces them to face what they buried. One of the cruelest weapons in Fromville is grief. The entity doesn't just kill, it mimics. Jim receives phone calls from Thomas, a voice that shouldn't exist, a voice older than the child they lost. Later, that same voice returns through the radio, reopening the wound and laughing as they leave. When Sarah is told to kill Ethan, she believes it will send everyone home. But ask yourself this: did the town want Ethan dead? Or did it want Jim and Tabitha to feel what it's like to lose a son? Again. Julie and Ethan didn't arrive broken by the town. They arrived broken by grief. After Thomas died, their parents disappeared emotionally. Julie became the caretaker. Ethan retreated into stories, symbols, and rules. Children in Fromville don't just observe reality, They feel it, and that makes them dangerous. Because the town doesn't feed on innocence, it feeds on corruption. Jade arrives at the peak of his life. Money, success, validation. And the moment he celebrates, none of it matters anymore. The town doesn't care how smart you are. It asks a different question. Who are you when none of it works? Victor isn't strange. He's traumatized. As a child, he survived while losing everyone he loved. His mother, his sister, his home. But the heaviest burden he carries isn't loss. It's guilt. Victor believes he caused it. He shared what he knew about the lighthouse, about the children, and then everyone was gone. That kind of guilt doesn't fade. It calcifies. That's why Victor draws. That's why he records everything. The pictures remember, because he's afraid he won't survive remembering himself. Victor doesn't fear monsters. He fears knowledge. Because he's learned that knowing too much can cost you everything. The boy in white never explains, never reassures. He guides just enough to force a choice. Which raises a disturbing question. Is he protecting Victor or preparing him? In Fromville, those who see the most suffer the longest. Father Cartry arrives as a man of faith, running from wrath. He preaches mercy, yet urges Boyd to use the box. The monsters didn't kill the town drunk. Judgment did. The town didn't force that choice. It revealed what was already there. Sarah doesn't arrive evil. She arrives convinced she's broken, guilty, isolated, desperate for meaning. The voices don't command her. They justify her. They tell her killing Ethan will fix everything. Because guilt is the easiest door to open. Donna becomes a leader out of loss. Kenny mourns his father twice. Leadership here doesn't heal. It only weighs. And that's when the rules of the monsters become clear. They come at night. They smile. They whisper. But they never force the door open. Fear does. Loneliness does. Despair does. The monsters follow the rules. People break them. What if the monsters aren't the test, but the consequence of failing it? No one is restrained. The roads loop. But the real prison isn't geography. It's memory. Identity. The things people refuse to face. You aren't trapped by the town. You're trapped within yourself. The show keeps asking one quiet question. Who were you before the world told you who to be? Before duty, before trauma, before survival mode. The town strips away the mask. And what's left is terrifying. Because remembering who you truly are means confronting everything that buried that person. And this is where things begin to align with something much older. In mystical traditions, reality isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's correction. Sometimes it's remembering. Into ancient frameworks, into memory, into why forgetting may be the most dangerous thing happening in this town. Because if Fromville is a prison, then the people inside are the wardens, and the key may already be in their hands. Until we meet again, remember,